What is going on? Madridistas, we're into the round of 16. This is the first year that Pep Guardiola does not make it to the round of 16. This is the first year, and I'm glad that we could help facilitate that. Kilyan Mbappe. Do you guys remember? I made a short and I talked about how after the Athletic Club game, after the Liverpool game, I said Kilyan Mbappe will prove the whole world wrong. I feel so vindicated because I knew that this guy is a world class player, if not the best player in the world. I don't know between him and Vinicius, but the thing is with Kylian is when he's in this type of form, he's so deadly. He doesn't need a lot of chances. What a world class player! He plays for Real Madrid. I have so many notes here that I want to go through from the game. I'm gonna be making a video after this one, breaking down some of the tactics, some of the things that from the game. That especially there was a lot of tactical changes from the first half to the second half. Um, Tactical masterclass by Carlo Ancelotti. You have to say, like, if you sat there and watched this game and the game plan that Carlo Ancelotti put forward, you have to give the guy credit when it's due because we were far better than Manchester City over these two legs. I wanted us to beat them 4-0 because obviously what happened 2 years ago, that would have been so nice. But Carlo Ancelotti is a risk averse type of manager. And it is what it is. I'm just looking at one of the comments. Raul Ascencio today. What an incredible performance. Raul Ascencio. This guy only a couple of months ago was playing in the Castilla, and now he's about to get a contract extension. Think about that leap to go from a Castilla player now to a Real Madrid. Like he has to be an undisputed starter at this point. There's no way you're going to tell me David Alaba is higher in the pecking order than Raul Asensio. The assist he plays to Kylian Mbappe. Do you guys remember? Who was it against? Was it Real Betis when he came on for the first time and he played a very similar ball over the top? He assisted. At that time, was it? I think it was Vinicius who he assisted that first time when he came on. Raul Asensio's story is an incredible one. To go from a Castilla player to having all those ACL injuries to now being a guy who is starting for Real Madrid. Think about this guy's life, how much it must have changed. The guy would wake up every morning, go to the training ground, play for the Castilla team, look at the first team and just be like, man, how incredible would it be to one day play for the first team for Real Madrid as a 21-year-old kid? And then before you know it, all of these things happen. ACL injury after ACL injury, different people get hurt, and somehow or another you find yourself playing for Real Madrid for the first team. What an incredible story that is. And it's not just about Raul Asensio's talent. It's about his personality, his attitude. You see that the guy's so vocal. He's talking every time there's a ball in behind our midfield. He can sense the danger and he has that recovery pace. He's so combative. What an incredible player that Real Madrid has on their hands. Talk about saving Carlo Ancelotti's season. If Raul Asensio did not turn out to be the player that he is, think about what kind of shit we would be in today. I don't know what we would have done. We would have probably played Ferland Mendy at center back with Tchouameni. That's likely what would happen. But speaking of Tchouameni, this was one of Tchouameni's best performances in a Real Madrid jersey, if not his best. If Tchouameni plays like this every week, we have on our hands top 3 best sixes in the world. There's no shadow of a doubt. The way he played today, the way he screened the passes, the way he connected the midfield. He played do you guys remember he played like an outside of the boot pass to Kylian Mbappe and Kylian shot it across the keeper? That was such an incredible pass. Tchouameni on the ball is really good. And if he's playing with confidence and there's structure around him, he's without a question one of the best players in his position in the world. You didn't see a lot of holes in his game today. If he plays like this in the big matches this season, then Tchouameni is an undisputed starter. If he plays like that, I'm sorry, but that was ridiculous. Tchouameni today was just incredible. Nobody was more incredible than Kylian Mbappe because Kylian Mbappe, the threat of Kylian's pace in behind your defense, he just stretches the team's defense and he creates more space. Because teams that try to play with this high line, the threat of Kylian making a run in behind your defenders is such a huge threat that you have to make adjustments and you have to follow his run. So it stretches the team. But the timing of Kylian's runs now is improved drastically versus the beginning of the season, and that just comes down to confidence. Killian is playing with so much confidence right now. You feel like every time he gets the ball, he has so much belief in himself. There's something about that Real Madrid jersey. When even I look at a guy like Danny Ceballos, I used to watch. I watch every single Arsenal game. I watch a lot of the Premier League. This Danny Ceballos is playing for Real Madrid versus the Danny Ceballos is playing for Arsenal. There's something about putting on that Real Madrid jersey where you feel like you turn into Superman. And that's why I believed in Killian at Real Madrid, even when he was not playing well. Even during the time, during the Liverpool spell, the Athletic Club spell, during all that, the reason why I believed in him is because I believe in the institution of Real Madrid. Because players who come to Real Madrid who are really good, once they put on the Real Madrid jersey and they're in that environment, they go from good players to greats to legends. Look at Luka Modric. Luka Modric came to Real Madrid. He was playing at Tottenham. You'll hear so many players, Cesc Fabregas, all these other people will say like they played against Luka Modric when he was at Tottenham. He was an excellent player, but the moment he put on that Real Madrid jersey, and he was in that environment. He was in that Real Madrid, the Superman outfit. Luka Modric, like all-time great. So many incredible performances today, all across. You have to say, and Carlo Ancelotti, you have to give the man credit because, like I said, he outcoached Pep throughout this entire two-legged throughout this entire over the two legs. Carlo Ancelotti was far better managing his team, the tactics, than Pep Guardiola. Just a couple things I want to talk about is Thibaut Courtois' long balls. Um, Pause, first of all. But Thibaut Courtois, the long balls out of the back, something for him to work on. He's very good with the ball at his feet, but a lot of those long balls that he makes, very low accuracy. Something that Thibaut Courtois needs to work on because I know a lot of the times they're clearances, but regardless of that, Courtois needs to make sure that, you know, you see Ederson, you see some of these other keepers with their long balls, they're able to hit the target. Thibaut needs to work on that a little bit and make sure that when he is, when he has the ball at his feet, that he is hitting those passes. Fede today, Fede's incredible. What can I say? He's the best right back in the world, but he's not even a right back. For the big games this season, you have to play Fede at right back. I'm sorry. Next season, you figure out the balance, you figure out what your best 11 is. But for this season, for all the big games, you have to play Fede at or right back. That's just what you need to do because once we get into the later stages of the Champions League, because obviously now we have either Atletico Madrid, or Bayer Leverkusen. So the draw for the Champions League is on Friday. We'll know on Friday who we're facing. But yeah, I mean, if we face Atletico Madrid in the return leg when it's at the Bernabeu, you could play Lucas Vasquez because when we did play against Atletico Madrid, the second leg when it was at the Bernabeu, Lucas Vasquez looked really good. But Fede is just what impressed me the most about Fede is those passes behind the defensive line. When he hits those balls behind the defensive line, the entire defense he bypasses the entire defense and he just looks for the player in the back post. So either Vinicius or Mbappe, if they see Fede with the ball in that position, they could just hit the back post and the ball will find them. It's incredible, man. This guy is just defensively, the interventions he was making today was incredible. Today, Tchouameni, I already touched on Tchouameni and talked about how, again, the thing is with Camavinga is more dynamic than Tchouameni, but Tchouameni's passing is a lot less. It's a lot more risk averse. Carlo Ancelotti prefers Tchouameni because on the ball, Tchouameni is gonna less giveaways. In terms of passes completed, Tchouameni is the safer choice. Um, but Camavinga is more dynamic and he's going to give you more ball carrying. So he went with Tchouameni today, and last season he preferred Tchouameni over Camavinga. What I don't know if we'll ever see a double pivot of Tchouameni and Camavinga, but that's something we'll have to wait and see. Uh, Today the build-up play was incredible, but again, City made us look good, and this City team, I don't see why we can't do this to Barcelona because in many ways they're very similar. They try to play this high line. They try to play the offside trap. They try to press you high. When we play against Barcelona, we need to take advantage of our front three. And speaking of the front three, Rodrigo this entire season has been spectacular. Talk about he has been the guy who has gelled the front three because of all the work that he does. Without the ball, we are in a 4-4-2. And Rodrigo does so much work defensively. And then when we do get the ball, Rodrigo Rodrigo is so good at running at his fullback. Because what happens is a lot of these teams, they focus so much on Mbappe and Vinicius that a lot of times Rodrigo will find himself against a fullback 1v1. And you cannot leave Rodrigo against any fullback in the world 1v1. He's just incredible. Um, Lucas Vasquez cannot start another Clasico. That's for damn sure. Lucas Vasquez in another Clasico cannot happen. But one of the criticisms let's quickly go through the criticisms. No minutes for Arda Güler tonight. No minutes, hardly any minutes for Endrick. Endrick came on towards the end. When Mbappe scored his hat trick, I would have liked to have just seen Mbappe come off. When he got tackled when he was trying to go in for his third goal, my heart stopped because he was grabbing his knee at the time or his shin. And I was just like, man, this is the one thing we cannot afford. If Real Madrid can keep their key players healthy, we can win the Champions League without a shadow of a doubt this season. The team that finished first was Liverpool, and I say this often. If we played the way we did today against Liverpool, we will destroy Liverpool. I'm sorry. Liverpool would get wrecked if we play against them the way we played against Manchester City throughout these two legs. The form that we're in right now is just next level. I touched on Fede. Rudiger came back today. He looked excellent. Jude, let me touch on Jude real quick because Jude's role changed a lot in the second half. In the first half, towards the end, you could tell that he was fatigued. Jude Bellingham is only 21 years old, but he definitely needs to work on conserving his energy because there were times where Jude Bellingham, towards the end of the first half, it was around the 41st minute where Vinicius is making a run, but Jude Bellingham is just gassed. He's done, and he plays the ball to Ferland Mendy. So he gets the ball back, and then Vinicius is like trying to make the run in behind, but Jude Bellingham is just dead, and he plays the ball behind. And then you see him in the second half. Jude Bellingham plays a different role. He plays right behind Kilyan. He plays in that sort of 10 or false 9 role. But he puts so much energy into the game, especially early on. And in the first 5 minutes, he had a really important defensive intervention. It was Bernardo Silva, I believe, who was going to have a shot on target. He was through, but Jude Bellingham made that run and he tracked him and he won the ball back. So he does a lot of work and he puts a lot of energy into the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game. And then in the second half, Carlo Ancelotti rearranged the tactics and the positions, even in the build-up phase. Ceballos, Tchouameni in the build-up phase. I'll do more in depth. I have a video that I'm going to drop later tonight of the actual tactical analysis of out of possession and in possession, what Carlo Ancelotti did in the first half and second half. But you even saw Ceballos' role changes a lot between the first and second half. Tchouameni in the build-up phase, his position changes because Carlo Ancelotti wanted him to push a little bit higher in the first phase of the build-up. Which was very similar as what we saw with Casemiro when he was at Real Madrid, but at that time you had Kroos and Modric initiating the build-up phase. In this instance, it was Ceballos, and Tchouameni would be slightly in front of Ceballos, as an outlet for either Ferland Mendy or Fede Valverde to hit them if Ceballos was not available because of the defensive block that Manchester City set up. But man, now if you're Kylian Mbappe, you have to feel like you have so much confidence in yourself, in your teammates, in your club. You hit this hat trick. He has to be feeling like Superman. And when you arrive at a club like Real Madrid in this environment at this club, this is what can happen to your life, to your future. I am calling it right now. Kylian Mbappe could end up winning the Ballon d'Or this season, but while he's at Real Madrid, he will not win one Ballon d'Or. He'll win more than one Ballon d'Or. You can mark my words on that. The only thing that that's going to stop Kylian Mbappe is injuries. That's literally the only thing. Let me know who you guys would prefer to face. Is it Bayer Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid? For me personally, uh, for some reason, Carlo Ancelotti does not like playing against Atletico Madrid. Carlo's record against Atletico is probably worse than any club in the world. But I will say this: when Real Madrid is in the Champions League, it's a whole different thing. What do you think? This game is different. Haaland started. I think if this game was different, if Haaland started, this game would be different because they didn't have a physical presence. In the 9 position, they had nobody to hold up the ball. A lot of the times they would play direct, and they tried to bypass a lot of our defensive block by playing the ball over the top to Haaland. But obviously, that was not something that they could do. A couple of times where Marmoush was through tonight, Raul Ascencio was there to clean it up. What an incredible man. Raul Ascencio, from what I understand, he's about to sign a contract until 2030. I hope they're giving him a salary he's really happy with, and he can solidify himself as Rudiger's partner going forward, because Raul Ascencio deserves it. And I'd be interested to see what Raul Ascencio looks like as a right back. We've not seen that yet. We've seen very short periods where Raul Asensio is playing at right back, but could this be a solution for games where you want to play Fede a little higher? Because again, would I prefer Fede as a right back versus Fede in a position where he can have a shot on target, where he can take advantage of his ball carrying? There was a large stretch last season where we played a double pivot of Toni Kroos and Fede, and the team looked really good with that double pivot. So I'd be interested to see what it would look like with Fede and Ceballos, with potentially Asensio at right back. And I have a feeling we will see that. But the only issue is Carlo doesn't like a lot of change, and he has his trusted people, and he doesn't like to mess with the tactics too much. Yeah, I think we covered everything. I don't think there's really much else. Talked about Courtois, talked about Jude, Kilyan, Tchouameni, Rodrigo. The one guy I guess we didn't really touch on, Vinicius. Dude, I mean, I don't know what to say about Vinicius. I mean, the guy's one of the best players in the world. Last season and the last few seasons, I should say, we've depended on Vinicius so much that we would feed him the ball so many times. So the volume of opportunities that Vinicius would have, you might stop him 6 out of 10 times. Of those 4 times that you can't stop him, it's either a goal or he wins you the game or something like that. So now he's getting the ball a lot less frequently, and so he has to be a lot more clinical and a lot more decisive with getting the ball a lot less frequently. And that's a bit of an adjustment for Vinicius. And a few times he does get the ball, you could tell that Kilyan does like to receive the ball quickly. So a few times in transition, their combinations between Vinicius and Mbappe, they need to work on that a little bit more because, like I mentioned, Kilyan is the kind of player, when he's making runs into space, he wants the ball quickly. He doesn't like that extra touches and everything like that. There was a play towards the end of the first half where you saw Kilyan break from the left side, and he's looking for Vinicius to play him the ball. Vinicius takes a few extra touches, and by the time he does feed Kilyan the ball, he was not in a position where he could really have a shot on target. So the synergy between those two guys still has a long way to go. Let me just quickly see if there's anything in the chat that I need to respond to before I start working on this tactical video for you guys. Yeah, and if you guys do want the tactical video, let me know, because I believe those have done pretty well, and I can break down what I saw from this game. Do not compare us to Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle and Real Madrid, come on. Who is the second best player for you in the match? So for this match, after Kilyan, obviously, second best player this game, man, that's tough. That is a really difficult question. Tchouameni was excellent. Fede was excellent. Rodrigo was excellent. So between those three guys, Rodrigo, Fede, and Tchouameni, I might go Fede. I think Fede is probably the second best player tonight because to me, Fede, all the work that he did to the dying minutes of the game, you have to give it to Fede. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for this one. I'm going to be working on the tactical video now. I'll drop it as soon as it's done. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And Hala Madrid, on to the round of 16. We are going to win the Champions League. I'm telling you guys, we book your flights to Munich. As soon as I get off the stream right now, I'm looking for flights to Munich, and I'm looking for Schlempas. Any of my German speaking people know what I'm saying. I have a half brother who lives in Dusseldorf, so I'm gonna have to see my brother. But that's all I got for this one. Hala Madrid, whenever they count us out, that's what we do. So best player tonight, Mbappe, Fede, Bellingham, Ascencio. I totally agree with you. You are absolutely spot on. So anyways, that's it for this one. I'm going to work on the video and have it for you guys shortly. Thank you for watching, and Hala Madrid.